Is Christ present here? To one who has, more will be given. To one who has not, what he has will be taken away. Gross is the heart of these people who have closed their eyes and ears, lest they see with their eyes, hear with their ears, and be converted, and Christ heal them. You must listen with your physical ears, look with your physical eyes, but then hear with your heart and see with your soul to fully understand the parables of the Lord. If you hear only with your ears and see only with your eyes, you can think your way past his instruction and teachings. That is when you end up back in Egypt, on the great, well-traveled river, denial. This is how many, very many, Christians will allow themselves to be led astray because they don't want to do the hard work. Because, well, it's hard. And they'd rather not look at that stuff right now because they're afraid or ashamed. Or they'd simply just much rather take the easy road. By going to Egypt, by allowing denial to enter into your faith life, you will end up in some very bad places, permanently detoured away from Jesus. You will be directed to some places that have a pretense of a church, but where Christ is not present. He is not even welcome there. Where only false prophets of hate, death, and the acolytes of the Prince of Darkness are present and in control. How can you tell if you are in such a place? How can you tell if Christ is present in the building you have entered that has crosses all about? If he is in the people who sit in the pews acting prayerful? If there is ever any talk of race, Christ is not there. Because for Christ, there is but one race, the human race. All other races, all other ethnicities, all other divisions are human constructs, creations of humans, as a means to separate us from them. The only reason to separate us from them is to effect different treatment, to cause changes in opportunities, and to discriminate between us and them. Jesus doesn't discriminate. Ever. Now, in this building, place, or in this group, with the pretense of a charge, is there ever any talk of anti a group of this, or anti these people, and us versus them? Yes? Then Christ was never there. For Christ doesn't enter into a place where they actively work to exclude. And he doesn't enter into any people that advocates it. And yes, he is quite upset with the organized major religions right now for violating his core tenets. Love one another as I love you, and do unto others as I would have them do unto you. This is the same teachings of the Son since the very start of his mission. This is the same program of love of all, and acceptance of each individual as they were created by God. And to refuse or fail to accept someone as the Lord God Almighty had created them is a most grievous sin. For by refusing to accept them, as the Catholics, as the Lutherans, as all the Protestants are, you are declaring, I am greater than God, and I know better than he. These creations of his are abominations in my eyes, so they should not be allowed to continue. Now granted, most of the Protestant churches are saying this. The Catholic Church just refuses to acknowledge their marriages. So for these Protestant churches, look in the mirror. See Hitler. See Pol Pot. See Mao Zedong. See Stalin. For these butchers of over 15 million human souls said the exact same thing. So, how does that feel, American white evangelicals? You sinners extraordinaire. If these fake churches or false prophets support or allow a politician into their building that doesn't feed, clothe, house, heal the least of the people, and support the same, for Christ is in the least of these people, then Christ was denied entry into that building. For these people, these churches, and these politicians, every one failed the test of Matthew 25:31-46. You know that one. And if you personally have slipped into Egypt because of anger at God, I have one thing to say, which many of you have heard me say before. Anger is a secondary emotion. It's something that you use to hide away from other things. It is caused by another emotion that is deeper, scarier, a more hurtful emotion that you don't want to feel or face. So you use anger as a cover, so you don't have to feel the pain of sorrow, grief, fear, loneliness, or abandonment. Let go of that anger. Get into therapy and do your grief work. Part of grief is abandonment. Part of grief is fear, loneliness, and abandonment. Do that work with a therapist. As you do the scary work, you will feel Christ there with you too. He will do the work with you. And when you are frightened, or when you feel the pain in the night, reach with your heart and you'll feel him there with you. And all of your spirit people supporting and loving you too. We are all always surrounded by love. But we need to look, listen, and feel for it. And then stay the hell out of rivers in Egypt.